You being from Alabama.
Well, I grew up in Arkansas, but I don't have much of a southern accent. I do, but I didn't have one when I grew up because I was born in Maine. And there's something formative about, I think, that first 6 years I have more of an accent. And then I actually studied Irish dialects in graduate school. Dialect was a big part of my master's in acting program. So I had it, but I
had dialect training too in school.
Yeah. So I think.
And you got Black Donnelly, so you had a little bit coming into it.
Yeah. I find the accent dialects very difficult for me, so I had to have some, I got met with a coach and they kind of walked me through it. It takes me, I don't have a good ear, so I have to work with it. It's a tough, the Irish is a tough one, so. But,
you don't want to sound like, Lucky Charms.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I've got one that I guess would be the main question you guys probably get asked all the time. Lionsgate's has publicly expressed interest in continuing the franchise. Have any of you guys been approached about any other Twilight movies?
I wish. No. No, not yet. That would be amazing.
It'd be great.
Although I have to say that if we had, I can guarantee you we
wouldn't be allowed to say, but I can tell you that I have.
So all we do is read her faces.
They were winking a lot.
My hat.
Oh.
She wants some screen time.
No, well, he was like blocking all of us. Saying, open forum.
Back.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
When filming, especially that final fight scene, was there any moment or any scene in particular that you just could not wait to see it on screen with the added CGI and the actual?
I couldn't wait to see the wolves.
Yeah.
We had this cardboard cutout literally standing right next to me, so I wanted to know what my little furry friend would look like.
That's right. We spent a lot of time standing next to a cardboard cutout of a wolf. We had sort of the rear field position, and that's where the wolves come in.
Mm-hmm.
And so we were right there with Eric,
Yeah.
like one of the visual effects guys, and he would come in and move the wolf. And, it's just a cardboard cutout. It looks like a toy.
I will say that was deep. I didn't read the book, so I'm like, they can't just start killing people like this. And all of a sudden, they didn't kill anybody.
It was a great deja vu scene.
It's a cool twist, wasn't it?
It was a cool twist.
Yeah.
My wife read the book, and she's like, they're killing people. I'm like, yes, they are. I couldn't believe it. All of a sudden, she's like, you could have told me that.
And I was like, they weren't kidding when they said they're changing it from
They
the book.
weren't. It was like gruesome.
Yeah.
You're going to have some nice background music here.
Definitely.
I'm trying to speak up, sorry.
I spoke with the bartender before to send us what we'd all like or not like.
Were there any hijinks on set?
Jinx, like
Hijinks.
Yes.
Pranks.
What was that day when, was it Rami who dressed up like something? Do you remember that? What? No, like put funny little things like into trailers because we were bored, so a long time on set.
Wasn't there a Gurry doll?
Yes, a Gurry. There was a
Gurry doll that went around.
Like a Gurry doll.
a lot of fake snow fights.
A lot of fake snow fights. I'm sure that made the VFX was really happy.
Yeah.
Production designers trying to keep that snow damp so that it wouldn't evaporate.
Well, and because it was all those particles in the air, we were breathing it all in. It's have you guys no, I was going to say the special it's on the what's it called? Oh my gosh. Yes, I was going to say special effects. I'm like, is that the right word? Yeah. It's on the special features, but since obviously I've seen it, but
Yeah,
I
the
can't say
dance-off.
the dance-off that we've all talked about.
Is in the special features.
Yeah,
That's
Daniel
all right. We can talk
Cudmore
about
mentioned that when
Yeah.
they came through for the film.
Yeah.
There was like a river dance kind of thing.
They
First
talk
open.
about it
I
in the
love
special
river dance.
Oh, God.
So the Irish Coven must have nailed that one.
Yeah, you guys were leading the charge.
Darn Volturi.
Yeah, DVD puts that all to rest. Like goes into the inception of how it started and goes through the
Does
whole
it?
thing. Yeah. I watched one of the special feature sections before I came in. So it's a good reason to get the DVD.
Yeah.
So it was fun filming.
It
Fun,
was
fun to make the movie.
It was fun. Yeah. Fun.
There were so many new people. We were all staying in the same hotel, and we don't know anyone in Baton Rouge, so we all hung out, and there was always somebody at the bar. You know,
And it's
so
starting to
you
get a
could
little clicky. Come on.
like high school, but you know, people hung out and made good friends, and it was, you know.
How was the filming of that? How long did that take, that big climactic scene? Was it over days and weeks, or just?
It was
So,
we
and then the
were in
month.
Baton Rouge for 2 months. We took a break for Christmas.
But that particular scene on the snow, that took
Just-
a long time.
I mean, is there? I've always been
A
curious
lot
about
of
this.
this. Just a lot of this.
A lot of that right there.
Looking very tough and ready to go.
Forward.
Yeah.
Okay, stop. Okay, good. Now for another 20 minutes.
The attention to
That's it.
detail for filmmakers is
Hours
crazy.
and hours.
Even the one person is not even really in the full scope of the screen, then I mean, if they do something wrong, and it just affects the whole shot.
Well, it's so funny because as an actor, you know, they say, you know, and go, and you're in the scene and you're imagining this Volturi, because you have to imagine it all because it's just green screen. They're jumping out of the trees and you're acting with your eyes, but you have to be really still because you're a vampire, you know. So you're like all this, and you know, you end up being on the screen. I was like, I was giving it in that moment.
Yeah, nobody can see it.
I was in it to win it, you know, like.
That's okay. I got a 63-inch high-def TV. I'll be able to see it.
Yeah. So I mean, there's a special feature that should give you guys your own little camera. Like, this is what I was doing the whole time.
Well, they've got that footage, so I mean,
All right, let's do it.
Stephanie doesn't give them another sequel to this, maybe they'll just have to bust out all the old footage.
Well, because there's so much stuff that they shot that didn't even end up in that battle scene.
That has to be the
So much
worst job.
stuff.
So, director's cut coming down the pipe. When they release them all at once in one box, super secret bracelet and wedding ring and the whole 9 yards.
Oh, wow, you've got it all played out. That sounds good.
Been in the business for a long time.
Five spin-offs. No, I'm just kidding.
Question. What was your reaction when you found out that you'd been cast for these roles?
It was pretty unbelievable. I have to say, when I went into that audition, it was one of the only auditions that I ever wrote on Facebook that I was going to, in fact, it was the only audition that I've ever written on Facebook. Like, hey, I'm going to go audition for Twilight. You know, like, I'm not going to get that. That's ridiculous. So, it was really surreal to actually get it. I just never thought in a million years.
Yeah, for me, I was a big fan of the books beforehand. So when I found out I had the audition, I was like, oh my god, that's amazing! That's so funny. Like I was like,
Just
that's,
having the audition
was great.
fun.
I was like,
that
that's
was
so
fun.
cool
Yeah.
that I get to audition for the, and you know, a week and a half later I get a call that I got, you know, like it was just
Like none of us
insane.
waited. I know that a lot of people really had to wait a long time because you know they had probably larger parts and it was more to go
There's so
into
much
it.
cast in that movie.
Yeah.
The end credits, there's so many. Even when they go through the whole 3 movies, there's just so many cast members.
So many.
So even being a part of that ensemble's got to be a huge deal.
I tell you, when I heard, I literally fell on the floor. Sure, fell on the floor. I was broken, a lot of trouble. And what's weird? Do you remember? One minute I'm going to apply for deliver pizzas, and like literally fly to Baton Rouge. And then the next day we had that scene around the fire.
Yeah.
So I'm having a scene with Tara Lockett, and that was just too weird.
Yeah. That was our
Remember?
first
I had to do it
night.
over and over again because I was just like, am I really sitting here?
Pizza to
And that was
And it
kind
was
of
like 4 in the
magical.
morning, and it was cold out, but it wasn't snowing. Like they made snow in the forest. Like
And like we were
so
outside. It was one of
weird.
the only things we shot outside.
Yeah, and they made this fire that they could turn on and
They
off.
put snow on the
They
trees.
put snow in the trees and in the ground, but it wasn't snowing.
It was really magical.
I was gonna say that kind of have to mess with your mind.
Our first night, it
Stars.
was like 3, 4 in the morning.
You know, it's the first time you put on your clothes that we ended up wearing for months,
Yeah.
basically, but it's all new and exciting.
And he had the pressure because he didn't have to say his lines about, you know, the Irish, the battles and everything, but the light was coming. And so Bill kind of was
that's
like,
right.
you know, no pressure, but the sun's going to come up soon. So just try to get this.
The nice it's
You really have to get it right.
Very patient, very kind.
Like they
And
were,
you gave me
know,
the
running out of time.
YouTube.
It's okay. It's good. It's good.
God.
So had you guys been following the series with the films up until the point when you were casting this one?
Yes, I was a big fan.
I sort of live under a rock when it comes to pop culture. It's something that I'm working on. I read The Hunger Games
It's a 12-step
3
program.
years after it came out, but no, I'm still trying. Yeah, so I sort of peripherally knew about the existence of Twilight and that it was a really big deal, but it wasn't until afterwards that I read all the books and got up to speed.
I had read all the books while I was doing a show in New York, 9 to 5, and I would literally come off stage, change into whatever costume I had, and read it at my makeup light, like backstage. It was dark, but I would sit there and read it and then wait for my next cue. And I'd go and I'd run on for my next cue. That's how obsessed I was. It was crazy.
Speaking of stage productions, you guys have been in a lot of indie movies. What's the biggest difference you've noticed between the more intimate scale of a theater or indie movies versus what's probably one of the biggest franchises?
What's the biggest difference?
Yeah, as far
Money.
as
Yeah.
In how much it
They
costs
have a
to put
masseuse
it
there
on.
one day for us.
Yeah. In how much it costs to put it on. And not only that, it is just a different scale, but when you're doing theater, you rehearse and you do it, and then you have to recreate the entire story every night. So that's a completely different thing, where one day you might shoot a scene that's 10 seconds long, and that's an entire day of shooting. So you use your same skills as an actor, but it's like apples and oranges. Which?
Oh, it's a lot of sitting in your trailer.
It's a lot of in your trailer, but I just worked on an independent horror film. I just finished
Decay, right?
Decay, yeah. I'm so excited for it, and I obviously had a much bigger part in that. So when when more of the weight is on your shoulders and you're more in the
Then you're
story,
using the time
then you're
in your
using the time to
trailer,
remember
yeah.
to go over your lines and get into that place. I had to get into a really dark and ugly place for that, So I was kind of glad when the shoot was over so I could shake it off.